5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Right, well, let's call this my number 4 entry because it feels thematic. And we're going going back to the PS3 era, although hopefully we're getting this game re-released in the near future.
Skyrim.
It's part of...
You can buy all the wheels of cheese you ever should need.
Yeah, there are plenty of shopkeepers in that.
Yeah, there's too many for that one. But I'm thinking of a game that had a rather memorable shopkeeper and his animal friend. And, yeah, I said before we start recording this, I'm surprised he wasn't on Shadow Fox's list, but it's from Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yes.
Drebin 893.
Drebin...
And his monkey friend.
It's his drunk monkey.
He's not drunk, he spoke.
Yeah, that was it.
I suppose that's a kind of intoxication, definitely.
Yeah, well, yeah, I remember that because Drebin would try and drink, but the nanomachines would filter it out of his system, so he couldn't get drunk until the end of the game.
Yeah, right at the end, yeah. So Drebin is a character that's introduced early in the game and is essentially your weapons vendor for the game. It's kind of the only game that actually has a shop per se. MGS5 kind of does, but not really.
So Peace Walker and MGS5 have research and development, which is more it's
more of the hub, isn't it?
It's more of an unlocking and
there's no actual shopkeeper to it, unless you want to count Ocelot for MGS5.
I mean, they're good, but realistically, it's just sort of you speak to a person and they initiate the stuff, from what I recall, anyway.
Yeah.
But basically, they're not the shopkeeper because effectively your base is the shop.
Yeah.
Whereas Drebin's shop, you get monkey sounds every time. Every time you buy something, the monkey's happy.
Hey.
Go there I think it's Wednesday and Sunday. The monkey gives you a discount because.
Yeah.
Sure.
I say I forget about all the mechanics that there are in these Metal Gear games, but of course there's tiny little mechanics about stuff like this. It was a Kojima game. I learned about recently, apparently Death Stranding was tracking everyone's movements and it's made desire paths in the game.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because of course it did.
And obviously there's the fun fact of why is there a monkey in the game? Do you remember this one?
Did Kojima just happen to have a monkey on hand?
Nope. It's because he really liked the mocap monkey impressions that Raiden's motion capture actor did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Gosh.
That's the only reason the monkey's in there.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. But Drebin's a fun character. He's he's not really plot essential, but he explains a lot of the plot essential stuff to you. Every time you beat a boss, he explains the origins of the boss. He does a lot of plot dumping, to be fair.
He's a new character designed for plot dumping, even though none of the other characters have had any issues doing that before.
No, this is true. But, I think Drebin was just a bit of a fresh air, because he was also one of the few quite upbeat characters, where everyone else was like, ah, doom and gloom.
Yeah, no, it was because you can't just, because obviously it's Metal Gear, you can't just grab a weapon off an enemy because they've always been fingerprint ID coded, and now they're just nanobot coded.
I think nanomachines.
I think that started in 4, to be fair.
I feel like there was some reason you couldn't take guns that they were explained in at least in 2 and
MGS2, I think.
Yeah.
MGS3, I think it was more like, oh yeah, you don't want to use the weapons the enemies are using because they're not very well maintained, and Naked Snake's a gun snob.
Yeah.
Also, I think it may be somewhat of a diplomatic incident if various guards are shot with their own brand of guns.
I mean, it was a diplomatic incident from the get-go when they fucking launched the nuke.
Isn't that the whole concept of the game?
That is the entire concept of the game, is it? There's an international incident. What's a few more war crimes on top of a nuke?
Snake. I mean, depends on how you play Naked Snake. I guess you can either play him as sneaky, stealthy, doesn't kill type, or you can play him as the.
I mean, I think that the canonical version is one that is basically never seen,
doesn't kill anyone other than obviously the Cobra unit, but
yeah,
they blow themselves up.
Yeah, it's like even if you knock them out at the end, they just say, "Time to die."
But yeah, so Drebin was definitely well, he's the only shopkeeper from the Metal Gear games, but he was very memorable. And I don't know whether I remember Drebin or the monkey more, but I'll let you decide that.
Oh, so it's that another. That's another one down off the list.
Another one bites the dust.
Another one bites the dust. I gonna pick a game. Let's see. I think this one. So I'm gonna pick a game that just has sort of like had its heyday quite recently and fallen off the radar. I might as well give it one last mention of quality.
Concord.
Concord, yes, the top keep from Concord.
Yes, so all 1 and a bit week of it.
Did it last 2 weeks? Did it make it to
2 weeks?
No.
Yes.
No, I think it lasted literally 1.75 weeks. Close to 2 weeks.
Close.
2 weeks, yeah.
But no, it's we're going to the world of Destiny.
Yes. There's a few shopkeepers in there.
There are quite a few. I mean, there were a bunch of faction shop. I mean, depending on which one which game, 1 or 2.
Yeah.
You got like all the faction shopkeepers. So you had the guys from Dead Orbit, First War Cult, and Red Monarchy. I was going to say Red Faction, but that's something else entirely. Yeah, Lakshmi from the Future War Cult, who accidentally opened a portal to the tower for the Vex or something. I don't know. She's dead. It's fine.
Fair enough.
No. But yeah, so the one I'm going to be talking about is Eva Levante, the grandma of the tower.
Oh yeah, I do remember her.
Yeah, so whenever there's an event going on, so in Destiny 1 she was tucked away in this little corner and she sold all the shaders for you.
Yes.
And then as of Destiny 2 she sort of became the event organizer. So anytime there's an event going on like Halloween or Christmas or whatever they are equivalently in Destiny, it's like the I'm trying to remember what the names are for the I can't remember. I know she does the Guardian games.
Yeah.
But that's not. But yeah, so she's the one who's there, like she explains it to you all. She gives you a little oven to bake cookies for the Christmas to hand out to all of the other vendors in the tower. But they pulled off like the doting, caring grandma extremely well with her vibes. She's always calling you like dearie or sweetie. She's always like, oh, it's so nice to see the lights in the tower again. It's like very nice to have someone like that, considering it's like you're saying, like it's a breath of kind of fresh air in a way, where it's kind of like, because some of the vendors, like Amanda Holiday, she was a good one.
Yeah.
Was.
She dead now.
She dead now. Cade, he was good. He dead now.
Oh, I mean, Cade wasn't the shopkeeper, but wait, did Cade come back?
Cade came back for the Final Shape, the DLC, yeah.
Which, to be fair, somewhat makes sense because he was a robot. So.
Yeah. I mean, they were. I would consider them shopkeepers as they're like the Hunter Vanguard. They stay at base and they trade in the materials for your good work. So they.
Yeah, I guess so.
There's also the Drifter, the sneaky Drifter. He's quite a fun one as well. Again, he's
the one I remember the most, I would say.
He's definitely, I would say, probably the more memorable one. It's there's a great event where it was like they give you a mission of like, do you like, because this guy he appears in the tower and he's like, he's shifty as fuck, and then like the Vanguard are like, hey, can you bug his room so we can see what he's doing? And then you have the choice of either bugging the room or giving the bugs to him and going, hey, they want me to spy on you. And he's like, all right, cool. And then if you bug the room, he obviously finds out. But then he he either calls you, I think it's like brother or sister, if you don't bug the room. But if you do, he just calls you a snitch. Like, his voice lines now just reference you as a snitch every so often. It's like, all right, snitch. It's like, come on, man.
Fair play to him.
I mean, obviously, on my Hunter, I didn't dob him in, but my other, I think, my Titan, I did. So whenever I used to play my Titan, I go down there, he'd be like, snitch. Like, shut up. So it doesn't affect anything else. Like, he's still a basic vendor, but yeah, he's just... he does
he's still
that.
Good for business.
He's still good. Yeah, it's like, hey, coin or glimmer is still good. So, you know, I'm not going to kick you out for that. But yeah, again, it's a game that had quite a few, or at least a handful of memorable ones. Because what was the other one? To be like Hawthorne, the clan one, who hasn't had an updated voice line since like Destiny 2 was released or something.
I also remember the guy who did the PvP stuff, because he was fairly
Lord Shax.
Shax, that was it.
He likes shouting and telling you to throw grenades.
The Brian Blessed school of acting.
Pretty much. That's close. Yeah. And there was also the gun vendor Banshee 44, who again.
I remember Banshee.
Again, one who has like kind of those interesting kind of backstories. We actually got a. It turns out he is technically one of the most important characters in the Destiny mythos. Because
when was that added?
It was during the point when they added Anna Bray and Elsie Bray, and the original, because the Bray Corporation was a big deal before the collapse.
Yeah.
And it turns out Banshee is Clovis Bray. He's like the head honcho who caused the Vex to appear. It was his fault.
Destiny White.
But the fact is, every time all the robots have a number on them, so every time they reset themselves, the number goes up, and they're basically purging some memories. And because he's like at 44 now, he doesn't remember who he is. He doesn't remember anything. His memory banks are so stuffed and full. He knows how to maintain a gun, so they keep him behind. So they keep him behind the gun thing. But yeah, and it turns out he was originally Clovis Bray, and it's just been reset so many times he has no idea who he is anymore. So yeah, again, a quite colourful cast of shopkeeps.
Yeah.
I'll stick with either. I like a friendly grandma.
So, back to me then. Well, it wouldn't be a list with me involvement if I didn't mention, in some way, shape, or form, Persona.
Of course.
Yeah,
Of
fair.
course.
To
I am
be
a
fair,
creature. I
there
am a
was
creature of
few-
habit.
There are a few Persona ones that were on my shortlist, but I was like, do I really remember them? And it's like, I do, but not fondly, usually.
So there's a bunch, there's a wide range of shopkeepers in the Persona series themselves, ranging from your typical everyday shopkeepers who are just sort of say, "Hi, how are you?" to actual sort of plot-heavy people. So I was debating whether to include certain people from this or not. Technically, you can have the entirety of the Velvet Room attendants
I mean,
as shopkeepers because they
yeah.
they quote unquote sell personas to you.
they provide you a service, which is
They do
good.
provide you a service, yes.
Technically, I suppose, was it Igor?
Igor is the one who performs the fusions. It's
Yeah.
the attendant, so your Elizabeth, Margaret.
No, but you'd probably
Justine,
call Igor the
Coraline.
manager.
Hmm.
They're
They're the
sales
ones who
front.
manage the compendium and allow you
Yeah.
to buy back your personas.
Hmm.
So they are shopkeepers, but I wasn't sure if I was allowed them because they're sort of fairly all-encompassing in the persona lore and such. And as with other shopkeepers, they are somewhat more important to the plots than others, because they exist in the world between mind and matter and everything else. So I was thinking about this, and I thought that probably the best shopkeepers, proper shopkeepers that aren't Elizabeth and Co, are probably the two shopkeepers in 5 who are actually useful, not only for buying stuff, but also in terms of character development. And that is the Doctor and the owner of the model gun shop.
Yes. Can't
So-
remember his name.
It's Ty the Doctor and Iwai the model gun enthusiast. Let's just say.
Yeah.
And basically, they provide you with various stuff to help you through the game. Ty gives you a whole bunch of stuff that she develops for medicines and such. So your standard stuff: heal 50 HP, heal 100, revive someone, as well as some special stuff. And Iwai
experiment on you first.
Exactly, and Iwai sells you the model guns, which become your side weapons in Mementos. But they both actually have their own character arcs and stories as part of your confidants, your social links, basically, in 5. And basically, the more you go into their characters, you see the reason behind what they're doing, how they got screwed over in terms of their sort of various other people, because that's the theming of 5 is basically being screwed over by forces that you don't understand or you can't combat and trying to rise against it. And basically it's that kind of logic going forward with them as well. And yeah, their social links are really good, really strong, and yeah, they're really solid shopkeeper characters who are shopkeepers as opposed to just hey, it's a shopkeeper. By the way, they are also super mega powerful and they will cast doom on you as soon as you ever think about asking for a discount. So yeah, those are the proper shopkeepers from Zona series, I would say. You've also, but yeah, as an aside, you've also got Elizabeth, Margaret, Igor.
You have the TV
Justine.
shop guy as well.
Yes, I was also going to mention Tanaka's Amazing Commodities, who is himself a social link in Persona 3, though not to the same level as the Persona 5 ones. Yeah, you can tell that they were starting to figure out what they were doing it, because compare his stuff with comparing the stuff from 5, you can see character growth, but the levels and the depth is not the same.
I mean, the series expanded with each entry, really.
They knew what they were doing, but they started trying it out with 3, and they sort of iterated it from 4 to 5.
They hit their stride with 5, I think.
Yes, they certainly did. Certainly did. So yeah, and honourable mention, you could probably say this, technically he doesn't sell you anything, but he is technically a shopkeeper because he does own a shop, and that's Shijiro.
Yeah.
5. But as I said, he doesn't actually sell you stuff, so I didn't put him in the list. But it was worth mentioning the fact that he owns his own cafe shop. He makes coffee and curry. He's technically a shopkeeper, but he's not a shopkeeper to you. So not part of this list for me.
That's fair. And for some reason, the only thing I can think of now is Junes.
Every day is great at your Junes.
Oh dear. My next one is the one we're definitely not going to be able to play any music from because it's all licensed music.
Hey.
If you guess the game off the top of that, I'll be impressed.
Brütal Legends.
Correct.
Hey!
Oh, wow.
So who's the shopkeeper?
Someone who isn't Tim Curry.
This is true. This is not Tim Curry.
I don't know. Off the top of my head, sorry. I just took a stab at the dark because ooh, licensed music. It's either some sort of music rhythm-based game like Guitar Hero or Rock Band. It could be Brütal Legends. Let's try that. And
Well, it is Brütal Legend, and your main shopkeeper of the game is the Guardian of Metal, also known as
the Prince of Darkness.
Yeah, I think he also calls himself that. But
what? Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
Of course, because it makes perfect sense in the Brütal Legends.
I mean, it does, in all honesty. And, this one's just on it because he's fun. It's silly. I don't know if it's actually Ozzy Osbourne recording the lines. I somewhat assume it is because they managed to get a fairly good all-star cast for it. And what is Ozzy doing these days? Raking in money from his previous career.
I mean, what did I see him? I saw him perform. Well, about a decade ago. So.
Yeah, but I think his illnesses are catching up to him finally.
These days, yeah. But
okay, so yeah, I saw him performing in his 60s. Let's put it that way. So.
I think
he's.
To be fair, I've seen the Wurzels performing in their 90s. So. But yeah, this is it's a fairly rudimentary shop. I think he can upgrade your car, your axe, and your guitar. I think he gets his there's several entry points throughout the map where you can then delve into essentially the underworld. And yeah, Ozzy will service all of your needs for you. And as I said, it's just a bit of fun. There's not too much to talk on this one. I'll be impressed if you can find a non-licensed track for this one, Shadow Fox.
Yeah, I would.
I assume the title screen might not be.
Yeah, I was curious. What's the Brütal Legends soundtrack? Is there? Oh, okay.
You found something then.
Apparently so. Apparently there's 20 tracks that are used throughout the game. Oh no, hang on, is that?
I mean, if all else fails, you can just stick Jack Black singing his song from Psychonauts 2.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there are 107 songs in the game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But 20 of them are original tracks for the game itself, which makes sense because you kind of want some more kind of general background kind of stuff going on sometimes, or something that really matches what you're doing.
Certainly for the cutscenes and stuff, you'd need original music. Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just have Ace of Spades blaring in the background whilst you're just wandering around trying to figure out where your next location is.
Yes, you can.
You totally can.
That I remember. You definitely can. There's literally just a CD player in your car going like, yeah, play what you want.
I mean, that was exactly what happened in Death Stranding. Every so often, you just be walking to the next place a long way away, and suddenly here comes licensed music. You're like, oh, go.
Yeah, that kind of sort of was the thing with me with Saints Row 4. It was just a case of driving along, trying to figure out where the next going, and then suddenly What Is Love starts blaring through the speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
And then you stop everything because it is What Is Love.
Yeah. You do a couple of laps around.
Yes, just nodding your head as you do so.
To slightly date this recording, Alan, I think it's the original Alan Wake is getting an update where they're removing licensed music because they don't have the rights to.
Yeah, that's.
I have to look this up now. Yeah, they don't have the rights to the music for the ending credits anymore. So they're having to.
Just get the old gods of Asgard to do something instead. So that'll be fine.
Well, basically, they've got an original piece from the guy who's done the soundtrack for, I think, Alan Wake 2, to compose something new for it. But yeah, it's an unfortunate
it's always
circumstance to say.
It's always a problem with certain scenarios. Like, hey, well, we want to re-release a game. Cool, all the licenses still good for it.
Well, this is the thing. It's just the Steam version is having to be updated to remove David Bowie's Space Oddity.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a pricey one.
Yeah, so it's being replaced by a new song called Strange Moons from composer Petri Alanko, who did Alan Wake and Control's soundtracks. So.
Oh, yeah. Pretty good.
It's sometimes one of those things that's a bit bizarre to it. Like, so what was it? Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
Amazing game. Had licensed tracks for the boss music, but also a streamer mode alternate tracks. And it feels like, hey, those new tracks were perfect. They were really good as they were. You didn't need to spend money on getting yourself licensing.
I suppose there might have been an edict from up above.
I mean, maybe. Yeah. And I guess, having that original tracks does, in the event of a re-release later down the line,
it does have that.
Oh, what was because that's the other game that's having a problem with it, which is Lollipop Chainsaw, which is getting re-released in theory this year. They're removing all the licensed tracks, and it's like, that's a really big blow because that's like half the identity of the game.
Yeah, it's like when your game is based on a certain amount of licensing. Yeah. Well, I mean, and because we know it isn't also just music. What was it? Metal Gear Solid 3 was kind of locked behind a wall for a while because they didn't have license for some of the visual bits.
Oh
yeah, they use war footage
clips.
Yeah, it's
I do.
That's a weird one.
I do hope that this is something they're thinking. Well, I'd say I hope it's something they're thinking of with games now. Is that if they're making them, they get like a license that says, "Hey, in re-releases, you still get your cut for any future re-release."
The problem with a lot of these is it depends on what the license holder is willing to do as well. Because some of them are literally like, we only do licenses this way. Because the other one is like, there's obviously a lot of people who are questioning like, why can't Sonic Mania use the original Sonic 3 music if every re-release can use it? And it's because if you re-release it unaltered, it's still the same product. So it's fine to keep using that license if that's what the agreement was. When you start altering the product, you have to renegotiate the license because it's technically a new product.
So if you put Sonic 3 in a compilation of things and add some extra bits, it can. It's like, even though it's the same game in there, basically it's had some tweaks to it.
Yeah. Whereas if you're putting the original code in, it's like, well, we haven't altered the product. The agreement was that the music could be used for that product in selling it in its original form. And if you're emulating it, it's still technically in its original form. But that's for people that have more legal knowledge than me. Anyway, we've slightly strayed off topic. Ozzy Osbourne was
I mean, it didn't take us that long, did it?
It's fine.
It's all good conversation.
It's all good. It's all good.
So yes, Brütal legend, Ozzy Osbourne, aka the Guardian of Metal, however you want to describe him. Man. I know you shouldn't be saying stuff like that. Go on, Shadowfox.
Yeah, we'll carry along. For this one, I'll throw out. Ooh. Technically, they're brothers. So
Yes.
we'll. But they are two halves of a whole. That would be the Huldra brothers of God of War.
And Greek mythology.
Greek
in
mythology,
general.
yes. Yeah, generally Greek mythology. You know, that old thing. I don't know. It was ages ago, more than last week.
There was possibly a large horse, maybe a mountain.
Maybe a mountain, I don't know, some angry gods or something. I don't know. But yeah,
One particularly angry one.
yeah. But, yeah, I mean, again, it kind of falls back into that being more of a part of the story, because obviously you go there, they upgrade your weapons, they'll sell you some. They sell you upgrades. I think they sell you a few bits and bobs as well, don't they? Like the life gems and
Yeah, they sell you bits and bobs, and they'll do proper upgrades for your weapons and your armor, I think, as well.
yeah.
Certainly in the first game. Second game, yeah, they do it all in the second game. Again, they're even more plot centric in the second game.
I was going to say, yeah, second game. That's part of what I enjoy about them. I enjoy the banter between them. Like the first game throughout, it's just, have you let my brother touch this blade or this axe? This shoddy work. He comes up and does even more. They're one-upping each other the entire time before they eventually kind of say, "Hey, you know what? We do well together.
Our best work together."
Yeah. But and
I say nothing on the second game because there's major spoilers there.
Yeah, I will avoid speaking too much about the second. I know it's been a bit out for a bit, but I know it's That's still.
I mean, people still get very defensive when you mention Final Fantasy VII and the twist in that.
Or Bioshock and the twist in that everybody knows at this point, would you kindly?
Or Metroid 1 and the twist in that.
Wait, what?
Samus is a girl!
Oh.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, it's because the original God of War is out on PC, isn't it now? But is Ragnarok?
Yeah, Ragnarok's out.
Oh, you're on about the reboot. Well, not the original.
Yeah, no, they're not in the original because they're not. In... Oh, yeah, I suppose they're Viking mythology, not Greek mythology.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say when you said Greek mythology, I was thinking, oh, okay, so straight back to original PS3.
No, that's me being stupid.
Was it PS3?
No, original
PS2.
And then the reboot was PS4.
It took him a while to get back in. Took him a long while to grow that beard.
There was no new God of War for. Oh no, there was. Yeah, God of War 3 was a yearly launch title for PS3, I think.
I don't know. Oh,
anyway.
Actually, God of War Ragnarok will be released on PC on 19th of September 2024.
Oh,
so
okay, so
a few weeks away.
Not quite yet.
A few weeks away as of recording. Yeah. No, yeah, the first one. So yeah, so as such, I will keep spoilers. I'm sure people are aware of them. They probably already know, but if it being locked
but
up,
actually, there's a lot of nuance to it, and there's actually there's a lot of. They feature more heavily in the story, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, during the second one, you basically live with them in their tree for the majority of the story. We'll say that's like your home hub.
Yeah.
And you get to. I mean, in that game, you even take Brock and Sindri out on adventures with your characters.
Which one goes to Helheim with you in the first one?
That is Sindri. I'm fairly certain he appears and does a quick little magic on your blades, so you can manipulate wind. Yeah. But yeah, it's that thing where it's like their story is told alongside. Like, they aren't B characters. They're not really B characters. They're actually kind of still main cast characters in the second game. They kind of get upgraded to that.
Even in the first game, they're not really B characters. They're still
they're important, but they come and go. Whereas they're really there in Ragnarok.
Yeah.
But yeah, the conversations you have between them are, and just the characters in them, they're either funny or they are thought provoking. Yes, I'll let that one pass on for now. Yes, it's a
good choice. I honestly didn't think of it because I see them more as story characters than I did as shopkeepers, but they are essentially your only shopkeeper in the game.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. They are a shopkeep. They are the shopkeep, and they are main characters, and that's why I think they're so memorable to me as characters, as shopkeeps.
Yeah, that's fair.